Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tippie podcast. I'm Tippie, and I'm here with the one and only Jonny Smoke, longtime freerider from BC, mountain biker, skier. Now he's a guide with Retallack on the bike and the skis, and just completed an avalanche course. And he's been freeriding. Was a mechanic with Wade Simmons back in the early Deep Cove bike store days, and riding scree slopes in the 80s. Many different old school stories with this man. We rode Yak Peak together, 2,500 foot first descent. And I've done a lot of shredding. But anyways, old buddy of mine, Jonny Smoke. How are you, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good. Nice to see you, Brett.
It's hard to categorize you, but, you know, you're an old cover. You're from Deep Cove.
Yep.
And
here we are, back in the hood.
Back in the hood right here.
Yep.
You went to high school with my wife, Sarah, and, you know, you worked with Chaz and Wade Simmons at Deep Cove Bike Store and,
yep.
and Number and all the legends. And you've been chasing the shred all your life. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be ending.
Yeah, here we go. I think I'm going into season 42 or season 43, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a bit of an arc going here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a martial art.
Yeah. How are you doing, Brett?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah.
Ask anyone.
Just ask me. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you. Thanks for the setup. Oh man, Jonny Smoke, legend. Full legal real name is?
Not telling you.
Not telling me.
Yeah.
It's Jonny Smoke.
It's Jonny Smoke. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
He's forgotten more trails than most people have ever known.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, okay, let's go back to the old days.
Sure. Let's start at the beginning.
Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
You won the first race you were ever in.
Well, you were
born.
not as much of a racer, but...
No, you were born.
Yeah.
Tell us about your first bike.
Man, you know... my first mountain bike. I mean, my first
bike and then mountain bike.
Well, yeah, because mountain bikes hadn't been invented.
Yeah.
So I started on a banana seat bike, an old BRC, like a Stingray.
Yep.
But see, everybody around here started riding the beach
in the
cruiser.
70s.
Yeah, that'd be the 70s. But right around 1981 was when the original Cove Bikes opened, and they all rode beach cruisers with the curved frames and stuff. So I modified my 20-inch wheel bike to have a derailleur and wide bars, and made that a thing. And then I had a BMX at the same time. I had a Norco BMX. So those were kind of what got me going. Those were my first bikes I rode off road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. And like the beach cruiser had slightly bigger tires.
I mean, sure, they had 1.9s. I don't know. They were, pretty early days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard to find. We didn't even know. I mean, we just didn't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, like riding a bike in dirt's fun. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you did like walking trails back here then, which are pretty, or even gnarlier than bike trails.
Well, what's funny about it is that, like you're a kid. Like, I mean, I was 10 years old. And I heard about these guys, Jeff Lytle's like riding trails, and Chaz and all these guys, and they're older guys you're really looking up to. I mean, you're like, they're riding trails, and so I started riding stuff like the Baden-Powell and hiking trails. Yeah. And if you've ever been to Baden-Powell and Deep Cove, it's not rideable, like it's stairs.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's what we did as kids. A few of us did it, and it was years later where we found out that those guys were mostly riding double track and kind of old skidder roads and stuff, and we had no idea.
You just assumed they were doing that.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys on the North Shore kind of had the same experience. Like if you talk to Dangerous Dan or Gabe or any of those guys, and we ended up meeting because of this. I'd see these skid marks around, and we ended up hooking up that way. But they had the same experience. They'd heard that guys were riding trails, and they just kind of went for whatever trail was there.
Yeah.
And the North Shore is a thing, and if anybody had said you should go do this, everybody would have said no. But we just didn't know, so we did it, and it worked.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So the first real production mountain bike was the Specialized Stump Jumper. That was the first production ones, but
kind of. There was a few companies.
That was the first mass production one.
Yeah, I mean, Specialized will kind of claim it, but there was like BRC was kind of big, Nishiki,
Kuwahara.
So
right around that time.
Yeah, Apollo, Kuwahara were kind of the same thing. Like, there was sort of a couple factories that were putting out the same frame, and different companies rebranding it. But yeah, there was a few bikes that came out. That sort of early '90s or early '80s. I mean. Yeah. Yeah, and it took off quick though, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But there was like around here like some Cook Brothers fat tired cruisers. There was a connection between here and Marin where the guys were bringing bikes up from California.
Yeah, I think that was Chaz and Dewey and Ash. I think they went down. They were working at I think they were working at the hospital at Lionsgate, and they went for a trip to California after high school and realized that working in the hospital sucked. They fell in with. They met Joe Murray and Ron Koski and a few guys, and they took the mountain biking in Marin, and they brought that back and opened up Deep Cove Sickles and Surfers. And so that was a big influence on everybody in the Cove. I mean, culturally, you've seen the pictures of the old Deep Cove days and the wheelie contests and the crits.
Up and down the street, thousands of people. And man, cycling's a thing in this neighborhood, in this culture. You know, like we grew up with it, and guys like Jimmy Moore, who recently passed, but he was a huge influence because he was an old road racer, you know, from Britain, and super talented human being and one of the nicest men. And that was, you know, it's something you grow up with. Some places, you know, there's like hockey culture or, you know, soccer culture or football culture, and Deep Cove seemed to have kind of a bike culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like skiing and biking.
Skiing and biking, kayaking, all the kokanee sports, yeah.
This place had no paved road coming in. It was a dirt road coming in, and it was kind of hard to find, actually. So you guys had your own secluded little music scene, a lot of Zappa.
Yeah, there's
a lot of punk, you know, and kind of like a little counterculture.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to think that we used to walk by horses on the way to school, and it's not that long ago. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's interesting group. I think a lot of people originally lived in this part of Vancouver because they couldn't afford to live anywhere else, and it attracted a lot of sort of the hippie side of things. And you know, I mean, you know, it was the 70s, so
yeah.
But yeah, lots of I think.
But the hippie / sporty side of people.
Well, you look at the group of people that came out of here, and you see what they've done. It's a fairly influential group. You know, I mean, it's all our peers have had a big influence. A lot of people are in Whistler. A lot of people in the bike industry have gone on, you know, out of this influence to do great things, and kind of out of a small group of people. It's interesting what they've done. Not all of them, obviously. There's
like Manny Osborne Paradis racing woke up skiing, and
sure, you know.
Like, you know, Jeff Lytle and like
Jeff Lytle is
yourself and Jazz and
I mean, Lytle's a good example.
Begin?
You know, I mean, he hasn't been around since '98 and lumpy, and he look at the shadow he throws across the industry. I mean, anybody who knew him knows, but I mean, you know, for anybody who doesn't know this guy, he really set the bar in Whistler, and everything he did, you know, outdoors was so amazing. Like, I mean, he just sent it as hard as he could, and he set such a high bar. It's been an influence on me and a lot of other people. And
fit dude.
Yeah. Oh, well, just nuts. I mean, but same time, you know, pretty insightful. I was just getting to be good friends with him actually when he died, and I think about that guy a lot actually.
Yeah.
I was talking with Chaz the other day about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did you move from after you know grew up in Deep Cove here?
Yeah.
You moved away before you came back and was wrenching at the Deep Cove bike store, did you not?
Well, I think.
Have you moved to Whistler for a while?
Oh man,
for a while.
I've been trying to be a local in every small town in BC. That's my goal.
You bounced around all over.
Yeah, I got to think about it for a sec. I mean, I started working at the Cove kind of randomly when I was about 19 or 20. Just kind of, they sold me a bike.
That was the location before it was on the corner by the gas station.
Yeah, it was, and they sold me a bike that had some Sun Tour parts on it, and they never worked, and they didn't know how to fix them, so I was always in there trying to fix it, and I worked for another guy who kind of, hey, that guy's all right, and kind of ended up within 3 months being the only mechanic there because no one wanted to work. Cove Bikes.
Didn't it open at noon so they could all go water skiing in the morning?
See you soon, but not before noon. Open every other Tuesday. Yeah, but
wow.
I worked there for a long time, but I moved to the Okanagan and back, and I lived. You know, it's hard for me to stay in one place. There's too much to do.
Yeah,
yeah.
So many good places to shred.
Yeah,
and you mix it up, right?
Yeah, I know. You got to keep it fresh.
Rainforest, desert, semi-arid, Shuswap Highlands.
Yeah, you know,
Okanagan.
I question your life choices sometimes. How could you move away from the desert to live here? I mean, it's beautiful here, but it's wet.
It is.
It's
good for your riding, though, man. You can ride here. You can ride anywhere.
Yeah, no, I've totally lost my edge, dude. I'm terrible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn your traction points, and then you learn to float over road. You know, let the bike kind of go where it wants.
Think light thoughts.
Think light thoughts.
Yeah.
Let the front wheel roll.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then it takes a while to get it back to ride here, I noticed.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I mean, it's nuts. I don't know how you stand the traffic, man. It's freaking me out driving around here.
Well, I'm right here in Deep Cove, so I don't have to go very often, unless I go up to Whistler, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm in love with the interior right now. And I moved up about 15 years ago. But I mean, I spent my time in Squamish and in Banff and, just a ton of places, really.
Where were you like doing the early free riding, like with no helmet? I saw you do some like stuff in the interior.
Some stuff in Karamias. Yeah, you were supposed to actually be at one of the one of the old cranked shoots, and you missed your plane, and we did this thing with Sweaty and stuff.
Something.
No, I did a bunch of stuff up there. I think some of the first sort of sandy shoots and stuff I did were at Apex. So ski hill outside of Penticton.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that those might be the shots you think of, like up to the axles in sand and no helmet and like tights tucked into wool socks.
Of course.
Yeah. No, it's like that was the look, eh?
Yeah. No, it was functional.
Yeah, helmets aren't cool. Everybody knows.
I remember when I did get a helmet, Troy Lee had come out with like these visors that you could put on a helmet.
Yeah.
And I like that look.
Did you have to get a custom one?
I got a custom helmet for my big head.
Yeah, because you got a giant head.
Yeah, no. I found a helmet actually that worked, but it wasn't very cool. But once I put a visor on it, then it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So some of these early shots, free riding, down the gravel pits and whatnot and steeps. Yeah. You've always been into technical riding, and you've had the North Shore here coming up. Mm-hmm. Was like a great mix of training grounds for you to learn how to ride everything, right?
Yeah.
And like you're still riding all the time. I think you get more heli time than anyone I know biking as a guide.
Yeah, I may have more heli bike time than anybody in the world. That's a pretty bold statement. There's probably some guy in New Zealand or something, but anyway, I'm in the mix.
Working.
I'm in the mix.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your job is
show
shuttling and heli dropping.
Yeah.
Full suspension mountain bikes.
Yeah, as they say in Germany, Shuttelschlampe.
Shuttelschlampe. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I met you, and you had the sickest bike. And my first memory of you was meeting me and saying hi, and we're bullshitting. And you lent me your bike. You said you're going for a ride with Wade Simmons on GMG.
Oh yeah, you were going to GMG, and you had you had like a cross country bike. You were going to die.
I had some it was a broken shock.
Yeah.
To specialized ground control.
Ah, that's right. Oh, with the shock up behind the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the thing was terrible.
And it was broken and 2 inches of travel.
Yeah, I had that Thomas Misser replica. It was like a Turner burner.
But it was a Kona X3 prototype.
It was the Misser replica. It was their downhill race bike. It was Patty White's. It was a 19-inch. They lent it to me to ride for a while, and I saw you about to go kill yourself, and it's like, you should just take this and see what you think.
Yeah. I couldn't believe you lent that to me.
Yeah.
So I went and rode with Kim Steed, Wade Simmons, and Todd Fiander, Digger.
Yeah.
And we rode GMG, and I crashed on a few things, but I went back up and I made sure I stuck everything before I left. But I was bleeding. I got out, but did everything. Mm-hmm. And I was so thankful. Yeah, that bike had like the 3-inch Judy downhill.
Oh, it had the red Judy with the extra travel. I mean, 3 inches, man.
3 inches.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You couldn't pedal that.
Magura rim brakes, HT22s, I think.
Yeah, the neon ones, yeah.
Maguras. And it was sick. And you saved my life with that bike.
Yeah.
And then I was very thankful. So I actually used to airbrush and hand paint t-shirts back then. So I stayed up late one night and I did a painting of you riding the steeps on that exact bike. Some like gnarly steeps down the whole back of the whole length of the t-shirt and gave it to you.
And I think that was the last time my hair was this long.
Yeah, probably.
I think it was actually.
So years later, when I got out of rehab, many years later, like 15 years later or something.
Yeah.
You pulled that out when Sarah and I went up to the interior and you pulled it out of a plastic bag. Perfectly preserved.
I still have it and I've never washed it.
It's
got some party on it.
Yeah.
But it's a classic. Yeah, no, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I keep a lot of that stuff, man. Like, I mean, that one's that's a treasured piece. But I've got a few things from the days. Like, I've got one of Chandro's jerseys that was in Seasons, I think.
Oh wow.
I've got some like original suede pants. I've got one of the very first Sombrio jerseys. Just a bunch of stuff like that. Just it's kept. I keep that stuff for. When I'm old and have my bar and can't ride anymore, and I'm just going to sit there and serve people drinks and screw up their orders.
Oh, that's funny. So, tell me where you went on the bike for that. Like, what kind of bikes and did you work through?
Oh man,
as time.
I mean, to go through the bike pile, I mean, it's a pretty long list because, we're all hoarse for new bikes. Yeah. So I started with, like I said, those 20-inch wheel bikes. I had a BRC Focus, which my sister still rides, which was actually a pretty ahead of its time bike. Japanese frame, riser bars, dual clamp stem, full rigid. I had a few full rigid bikes. My first Rocky was the Discovery, which was like the Ritchie Assault. I had a series of Konas. I had many Konas in a short period of time. I had a Cove Hummer.
Know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Part of the reason why those bikes got better. Cove Hummer. I had a few Cove bikes because working with Chaz, and then we all, kind of helped develop those, and a few amazing Rockies. Man, so many, like a few Specialized. Lately I've been riding Santa Cruz. I was riding Transition for a while. Everybody makes pretty good bikes these days, eh?
Didn't you take Rob Roscoff in his crew?
Yeah, I took Rob and his friends out.
Wicked big mountain excursion.
I like those guys' idea of a heli budget. They can come back anytime.
They were just dropping mass heli.
That's all we did for 4 days straight.
Yeah.
We set some records there. Rob's actually he's a real sweetheart, man. Like he really loves to ride a bike, and that's really all I asked for with people.
Were you on V10s?
Yeah. Actually, I think when I was riding with him, I think it was on that TR11, which is also a hell of a bike. But I am riding a V10 right now, and they're just rockets, man. All these
like down Texas Peak. What's Texas Peak like? 3,500 feet or 4,000 feet? Or
if you take it all the way to the valley, it's 5.5.
5.5 to the valley.
Yeah, I think if you go to the midpoint, like if you go to the heli pickup and you're going to keep hitting laps, you're looking at about 3. Yeah, 3.5, something like that.
What about to the lodge?
Yeah, about 5.5.
About 5.5.
Yeah,
well, sick.
Yeah.
And what are the heights of all of them? Like,
well, I mean, all
that's
the peaks.
Texas.
Yeah, Rico's the same. You drop off at 8,500 feet.
Yeah,
and they'll kind of go to the same points. Rico, you get a little more vert because there's some up in it. That was our first one, so we ran that one a little longer. Just if you're only gonna do one, you got to make it a little longer. But really, open the wallet. Let's do some laps. Yeah. I think talking to guys up there, we've been kind of in a holding pattern. I don't know if you know, there's this thing going on globally. It's kind of been an impact, but I think we're going to try and, we have a lot of trails in our tenure that haven't been built. And I think we're going to try and get a few more pieces done this year. Yeah, we got to open it up a little bit. I think it's a good zone to kind of do that in. I mean, it's been mined for years. Like it's already been kind of damaged. It's not like we're stepping out and, creating like a new zone or anything. We got a lot of room there to fill in and use some old
mines there. And
pretty fun stuff, the old mining, areas like
Talus slopes.
Like all the wastage that comes out. Apparently it's called wastage. I've been told it's not tailings, it's wastage.
Wastage?
Yeah, but they're a gas to ride down, so yeah.
Yeah, they're steep too.
Yeah, they're pretty steep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what a job. So you guys don't use Unimogs to get people up, normally shuttling. They're these LRT, like military transport.
They're military surplus trucks, like deuce and a halves.
Because like the pickup trucks only last so long. The Unimogs...
Pickup trucks aren't big enough. We used 1-ton vans, but we snapped a couple.
Yeah.
And then...
the Unimogs only last so long.
Unimogs last a day. They're terrible. These American military hardware seems to work pretty good. You get them cheap online. Yeah, and helicopters are the best still.
And they would.
Yeah. Totally. I think over the next few years, I think a lot of it's going to go electric anyway. The e-bike technology is kind of kicking in, and I'm still not totally sold on it because I like the feel of the acoustic bikes are lighter, they're snappier, they're quicker edge to edge, they're a little more fun on the downhill. Having the motor on there, I mean, it allows you to access, which is good, but then the performance of the bike changes, so it's not quite the same.
Yeah. Jumping and tighter switchbacks, you can really notice it.
I noticed they kind of send you off the jumps, like that extra inertia, eh? You kind of go deep.
They really stick really good through the bumpy, chunky sections.
Yeah, but out of the turns, like you get the sharp turns, they don't come out of the corners the same. I haven't figured that out.
No.
Yeah.
There is a little more weight there.
Yeah,
for sure. It depends on how much flow there is on the trail, but...
we don't know anything about flow.
Yeah. If you can flow, it feels like a normal bike if it's flowy, right?
Thanks for plugging the Retallack scene so much, by the way. I mean, I know you guys do generally like to ride there, but
it's one of my favorite places, if not my favorite place to ride anywhere. It's got a little bit of everything.
It's got a little bit of stuff. It's got frisbee golf too, so.
And glow-in-the-dark frisbee golf for late night sessions because... you don't have time to go to bed early. You want to go play frisbee golf and walk around the woods.
What, do you want to live forever? Like, let's go play golf.
Yeah. 18 holes.
27 tees, 18 baskets.
Oh, that's what the
night course is short, right?
Yeah.
You can play the long ones.
Okay.
Yeah. You should play the long ones. I know what you're about.
Yeah. I know. I love it. Yeah. I've had some good battles there and just some good conversations. I've laughed so hard there. I've like cried.
Yeah.
On that frisbee golf course.
There's a little energy up there, isn't there?
There's some energy.
Yeah, it's kind of a special place. I can't believe I've landed there. But
Mike Kinraid is doing some guiding up there with you as well.
He was running it for a while. He had to step back just during the COVID thing. He needed to support his family and stuff. But yeah, he's always around, and he's been a great influence up there. And it's kind of a special place that way because everybody comes and visits, and you get to meet so many people.
Well, you got rock stars showing up like Amory Piron and Aggie.
Aggie's a gem, eh? Yeah, I love it when he comes up. And Sorgie's always there training.
Sorgie's always there.
Actually, I was hanging with him and Sterling Lawrence this summer.
Okay.
And actually, this will take it back to the early days. But Sterling, it was great to see Sterling because I haven't hung with him in quite a long time. And he took a picture of all of us in front of the shop. Like it's not the original old one of all the OGs.
Yeah.
But it was like we kind of revisited that, and it's like Gabe Fox and Seth and Symbol and myself and who's in? I think the Traslins are in there.
Traslin brothers.
Yeah, and who I saw this summer.
Yeah.
And they're living in the Okanagan. And it was just kind of cool, like seeing all those guys again. Like I say, they all come up and visit, and then you kind of revisit all these like chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Phil and Mac are the owners, and they're awesome, and they just create a good vibe up there. And there's like the creek going down. You can have parties down by the creek by the bonfire. There's a hot tub. Kind
of necessary.
Very cool lodge.
You're allowed to hang out outside. Nobody gets sick outside. That's what we do. So we just hang out outside.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's such a good little zone. And you ski powder during the winter, and there's like cat skiing there. Catboarding.
We ski a little powder.
And those are how big a slopes. So those are big mountains too.
So we ski and ride the same places, and we do roughly the same amount of vertical. We do a little more vertical in the summer.
Yeah.
With heavy hitters, you can sort of break into that sort of 18 to 20,000 foot a day range.
Yeah.
But usually, it's kind of more of that sort of 12 to 15. I find with the bike, if you go over 15,000 feet, people get hurt, and that's no fun for everybody.
People get tired.
Well, you feel great the first day. If you feel tired the first day, you're in so much trouble.
Yeah. Sucker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So steep and deep runs there.
Yeah.
But this is your job now.
Yeah.
Is like heli bike guide and regular, I guess late military transport shuttle guide. and the heli. And then in the winter it's the cat on the skis. And you've been tailgating there for years, but you just got another avalanche course that makes you a lead guide, with 50 days of
I'll be an assistant guide this year, which is kind of cool. That's a new thing. I can't believe that I'm taking on this stuff at this age. I mean, for those of you watching, I literally just passed this like 6 hours ago.
Yeah,
so
he's on his way back.
Might be on a little bit of a high right now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked. It's been quite a journey. I always wanted to bring the professionalism that's in the winter guiding world to the summer, and the best way to do that is to go down that path. So here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah.
That's legit. Tell us about some of the other jobs you've had though. Like, you worked up in Squamish at Tantalus.
I worked at Tantalus. Yeah. I saw Al Ross today. Actually, I went and visited. He's a gem of a human being and a real class act.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows Squamish knows that, they've got good shops in that town, and Tantalus is, it's just a special place for me.
Well, it's an iconic spot.
Yeah. I answered an ad.
And not only were you renting there,
but
you were also, I think you were the first free rider from Squamish.
Al says that I'm Squamish's first free rider. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take that title. I'll own that. I answered an ad in the North Shore News. And looking for somebody to new shop, and I was kind of bored, and I was like, yeah. And I called him, and he's like, well, I've heard of you, and he's like, oh, cool. And I went up and we started in his house, and then we moved over by the bus station, right by the Shady Tree is now.
Okay.
And it was pretty wild, man. Like, they are a very race oriented community. I wasn't a racer, but the terrain in Squamish. And it had a big influence on
me. Were you the first to do Disneyland and go work all those trials lines together on the Mountain Way?
Yeah, I fell in with those guys through the locals, through a guy that I was living with, and he introduced me to the Trials Club and said, "Oh, you got to see this thing they're building." And we got out and we hiked it up.
Trials Motorbikers.
Trials Motorbikes, and we hoofed it up all the way up Britannia. And
steep. And huge.
Yeah. Well, I did it. I think it was 95, right at the end of the season. I hiked up there. And with the guy who was running me the room, and we rode it, and he gave up. Roman is his name, and he dropped his bike, and he said, "Oh no, I'm not going to go." And I was like, "You know what? I'm already here. I'll just carry my bike up a little further." We got to where they hadn't quite got up to the Alpine.
Yeah.
And I turned, and it was rideable. It was fresh, so fresh is easier, but it was rideable. And this is on a Cove Hummer with like Mag.
Oh my God.
We're talking. I didn't have just Mag 21s. I had Mag 21 SL ties.
Rubber dampers.
No, they're air and oil, but they were
okay.
they were lighter, and I had the long travel kit. They were so flexy, you could like turn your bar 30 degrees and your wheel wouldn't change. Anyway, It was rideable, and we rode out. We got out, and the next year, I took some of the North Shore guys up. So Digger and Gabe, Jerry, Mike, Gabe, the GMG guys, and a bunch of other people. And I just remember Digger yelled at me the whole way up, like, "Stop! You can't ride it! You can't." This is yelling, but he didn't know where he was, so I just didn't stop, and then he had to follow.
We're almost there.
Yeah, but it changed riding there, and like in that whole zone in Britannia, changed mountain biking on the North Shore because we weren't riding rock faces then. Up to then, it was dirt. Granny's had like a bridge. There was a couple of little log rides, and that was kind of coming on, but the rock face thing hadn't happened. And in Squamish, you ride rock, and I think that was kind of where I kind of hit my first stride. Was I started riding a lot of big open rock stuff, and then took Digger there, and then Digger just like that just blew his mind, and then he started building lines like the Skull and things like that immediately after, and it changed the complexion of riding for sure. Yeah,
adding that slab mentality to it.
The rock in Squamish is pretty special.
It is.
It's this kind of granite called granodiorite. It has big crystals. It's grippy when wet.
Yeah,
it's not it's not like the song.
Dude, I remember going to like Europe and stuff, and I was used to riding Tantalus, which is mostly clay, and some pine forest dirt up higher, some rock, and then down here, and I rode in Whistler and Squamish, all through those days. But I remember just being used to the rock here. And when I went to Europe, I went to ride some wet stuff, some wet rock.
Oh, were you in Italy?
Yeah.
Did you get spanked or what?
Oh, I got slid out.
It's probably limestone. It's like riding
over cliffs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like riding Williams Lake.
Slippery.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was sketchy.
Oh, it's like ice.
I crashed so hard. And it was so stubborn back then that I would just keep going till I stuck it, right?
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have, because it took me a bunch of gnarly ones to get there a bunch of times. But I was spoiled by, the Squamish rock and
oh man, it's a scene.
The North Shore slabs.
There's so much stuff in that little zone, and they've really done a great job of developing it and protecting it and stuff. But there's other zones. I mean, people just don't even know. You can explore there for a long time. It's pretty good.
There's always new zones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I keep kind of checking out all these other small towns. I got to get back to Williams Lake too, because that place is so special to me too. I mean, there's just certain places have like such a good vibe. Nelson.
Well, how did you discover that? Shreddy and you hung out with Shreddy way back in the day?
Shreddy came down to Apex skiing for a thing that we used to put on called the Ular Backcountry Extravaganza. Not a race, it's an extravaganza.
An extravaganza. I like the name.
There's soup. And anyway, I met him there, and he's just one of those people you meet and you just connect with. You got to have him on here because he's a gem.
Shreddy would be awesome to have.
Shreddy makes things happen, and I got up to visit him in his zone.
Red Shreds Bike Star.
Red Shreds Bike and Board
from Williams Lake.
Yeah, one of the all-time great shops, and his scene is so cool. I mean, you've ridden there. I mean, basically, that one shot at the end of, was it Crank 2?
Crank 2.
That is, that line to this day is still so insane. I can't believe you rode it on the bike you did.
Yeah, I was the first one to ride it.
Yeah, and that, you know what?
I was the first one to ride Williams Lake, Farwell Canyon.
Farwell Canyon is a
top
thing.
to bottom.
Yeah, and what a
Richie would only drop it from halfway down.
Well,
I did 3 top to bottoms before, and he was dropping them from halfway down.
Yeah, well, he was scared.
I know.
Well, he's pretty. It's okay.
Yeah. I was proud of that, though.
Yeah. It should be, man. That's a move. I mean, guys today are like, oh, they think, they go there and, we're cutting edge. Like, man, we were riding that in the 90s.
I remember I had a Gary Fisher with like Magura HG22 rim brakes, and then I got a Rocky Mountain Element DH race, and it had like V brakes, and they weren't as good as the Maguras.
No,
but I had to. That's what the bike came with, so I had to lock it.
Yeah,
they were lighter.
Yeah, they're a bit grabby.
Yeah. What is that thing? 800 feet, 900 feet, 1,000 feet, maybe.
It's big. It's scary, man. All I know is that once you go, you're not stopping.
Yeah, you're committed.
It's a thing.
You ride it out.
Yeah,
it's like surfing a giant wave of clay and dirt.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, did you see Sorgi into it this spring?
Sorgi with the drone footage of it?
When it was like drifting 2 wheels sideways and then like full speed into it. That's a little different than we rode it, but still, it's still a thing.
Still got it done.
It's still I know. It's still a thing, man.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then a lot of good flow trails up there too.
Yeah. It's funny because you started in the interior and came to the coast, whereas I started on the coast and went to the interior.
I know. So
for the adjustment, how was the adjustment for you?
Dude, you have to learn to like just let the front wheel go, which you do in the steeps of Kamloops and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's a different kind of thing. Like I found here, you could always stop and put your foot down, and then there's like that was kind of being in control. And then when you go to the interior, there's this whole other thing where like you can be in control without being able to stop.
Yeah.
And that's a huge adjustment.
Yeah, because they're big, long slopes. And
Well, it's just, you got to, and you can't see around the corner. You just got to trust that you're going to, and it's like, it's good to go. It's going to look like what you just saw. Whereas here, that's not the case.
No.
I've had to explain to a lot of people.
It's like mini golf here, like short, everything, every 5 feet, there's something.
Speed is not your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas in, in interior stuff, it's more wide open and generally.
Letting it roll.
Speed's good. Yeah. Let her
yeah.
hang. Yeah. That was a big adjustment though. It's still kind of dealing with it, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I think in a few more years, I might be good at riding a bike.
Yeah. Keep practicing.
Yeah. I'm going to keep practicing.
It's for how many decades has it been? What, 40 years?
It's over 40 years. I'd have to do the math. And
Yeah.
I mean, I did my first mountain biking in 81.
Yeah.
And
That's me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a ways, man.
Dude, we're old.
I know we're so old.
You know what?
You know what though? I had one of my
Steve
best.
Caballero has on his Instagram. It's weird being the same age as old people.
Yeah, totally right. I know. We're gonna get a seniors discount in like 4 years.
I know. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Middle-aged action heroes.
I got a lot.
Or is that older than? Is 50 years old more than?
I thought
middle-aged?
55 when you get to go to the senior center.
Oh God, this isn't happening, is it? Is this real?
It's totally real.
Oh my God.
But I had this insane year this year where like I find it takes me longer in the season to get up to speed, but then I'm still progressing.
Yeah.
I'm going bigger. I'm going faster. And it's also scarier because I can't really see that good. But it's true, man. And I mean, a lot of it is because I do ride, it gets a bit samey. I ride the same trails all the time, but there's,
you wouldn't believe who I ran into when I went and got my new glasses. Almost everyone.
I knew I was waiting for it.
So, wow. So early Squamish, and then you did some Rocky Mountains, right? You did Banff.
I lived in Banff for a while. That was pretty early. I mean, that was 89 or 90, maybe 91. I wrote a bit of stuff up there.
But it was park, so it's hard to find the riding.
Well, nobody cared then, so it wasn't really that big of a deal,
Because it was so new.
Yeah, it was so new. I mean, there was a little bit... but I mean, we rode Silver Spray, we rode some other stuff. I used to actually throw my bike on the bus and go to work at Sunshine. And then I would ride on the cross-country trails back to town, which sounds totally reasonable, except it's the wintertime and they were like literally...
Minus 25.
No, it was springtime, so it was actually not that cold. What it was about a foot of ice with water on it.
Yo,
it's actually beautiful. It's really fun. But you want to talk about not being able to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally glass.
Yeah, I live it. For those of you who are wondering why this interview is wandering around a little, it's because I wouldn't let Brett take notes.
Yeah, here's my notes here. Blank page. We did this before up in Silver Star, but we had a sound issue.
And it didn't quite work out.
But I had tons of notes.
You had tons of notes, and it went sideways. And I think it ended with me saying, 29 sucks. And then I could hear Cam Zink laughing in the background. 29 still sucks, by the way. I'm not a fan, but, you do you.
I like the mullet bikes. I like it. I like the 29 in front wheel.
They're okay. You know what? And I don't really actually mean that 29 sucks because they're good for what they do. But the thing is that like I look at what I ski on, and I got more than one set of skis. And you know what's really awesome?
That's true.
You know what? It's really fun to ski on? 225s. They're amazing.
Downhill skis.
They are so fun, and they go faster than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're designed for.
They're not very good in powder or trees.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you're Rob Boyd.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of my beef with a little bit of the bike design these days is that they're not making... everything is so race-centric right now, and I love racing. I think racing is great. I think everybody should do it. I just don't think anyone should take it seriously. At the end of the day, and when I lived in Squamish, I did a lot of racing and I really liked it. We started the Looney races and I saw some success with it, but I never was that serious about it. I like to ride my bike and I like to have fun with it. And I think that you lose a little bit of fun.
You're having a good time, not going for a good time.
Yeah, well, you're always a little bit rat racing with your friends and stuff, but there's more to it than raw speed. And I do miss that sportiness of the smaller wheels. I'm quite enjoying the 27s. I think as I get older, it is a little more forgiving. 29, 5'10", I'm kind of on the bubble. I can't do some things with it that I can do with the smaller wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, a lot of guys out there that I talk to, I think that voice isn't quite being heard, and I would love to see somebody start making freeride bikes again because, you can put some baggage on that label if you want, but man.
Like a 170, 180 millimeter
Could maybe it's
27.5 wheels?
160. I don't know. But I mean, we figured a lot of stuff out with geometry. We figured
All
out
the time.
We figured out a lot of stuff with suspension.
Yeah.
But what happened to the fun? Why is it just raw speed? Like why do we have to square every corner off? I mean, let's fit one of our best friends, Wade Simmons. Does that guy take a straight line into anything?
No.
No. And yet
He's all over the place.
And how much fun is that to ride
But
behind?
he's good at that.
But and I talk to a lot of people who are good at that, and again, I think I hear Cam Zink. He's like, yay! But it's true, man. It's totally
He's like
true.
26 forever.
Yeah, I know he won't give it up. But I mean, I still think about
No, he does 27.5 front, 26-inch back.
Yeah, sure.
On his big bike.
Yeah, sure. And it's fun. But every time you go up a size in the wheel, you lose a little bit of edge to edge and a couple of little things, but it rolls over things better. So
It does, I know.
yeah, it's not quite there yet. I was having some fun chats with Dustin Adams the other day about that stuff. So
From We Are One.
yeah, and there's another guy out of our set who's just doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Made in Canada carbon.
Yeah.
What an animal.
Wheels,
Frames.
handlebar, stem,
Frames, man.
frames.
That is, and he's machining all the bits for it in Kamloops. Like I have so much respect for that. I think that's an absolutely incredible thing.
2-time Canadian downhill champion.
He's
Or maybe more. I don't know if he's won it a bunch.
one of the fastest men on the planet.
At that point, yeah, he was getting. He got a 4th in a World Cup.
Yep.
The first World Cup that Steve Pete ever won. Dustin Adams got a
Dustin Adams didn't.
4th. He wasn't far behind though.
No, and
And he was coming in hot to the last corner, second last corner.
Yeah.
With huge speed. Or was the last corner? And he pushed a bunch of speed. He might have been on the podium for sure.
well, he was.
Or he would have been on.
Yeah. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah. If ifs and buts were candy, that's to be Christmas all year long.
Yeah, if you don't take it seriously, then it's more fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was up. I rode with him this fall with some guys from I9, Clint Spiegel, and Matt MacDuff,
And Matt MacDuff.
who you had on the show, one of your first ones.
Yes.
Oh, he's a gem,
He's living in Baker's suite right now.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Andrew Baker. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I like Matt a lot. Yeah. You just met him, and man, he loves it.
Did you see that video he did where at Reader's Place?
Yeah.
Where he was doing like 180s and then like backflipping off the end of the ramp and then the landing goes the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And like weird stuff like that, like some world firsts.
All these, yeah, like
Semenuk doesn't do that weird kind of stuff.
well, it reminds me of my buddy Andrew too, another street guy, and then sometimes these street guys take it to the trails, and Matt's going to start riding Big Mountain. I want to see what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he loves it, man. I had so much fun riding with him, like just good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a freaky dude, but with a positive vibe.
Oh yeah, I love the vibe.
Like he beats his own drummer.
Yep.
Yeah, he's such a classic. I first discovered him when he did a video, how to cook macaroni and cheese, and he did it so funny. I was like, "Who is this guy? I love this guy."
Well, that's the internet for you. I mean, it makes
This was on Pink Bike years ago. Actually.
yeah. It's funny how those little forums and stuff, funny things happen. Like, do you remember how we decided to go to Yak?
Didn't we on SMB?
So
Forum?
for anybody who's listening and you don't know what it is, Yak Peak is on the side of the Coquihalla Highway. The highway just got destroyed, and it's this massive pile of open granite. It's
2,500 vertical feet.
Yeah, it looks like Yosemite, and you look at it and you think, oh yeah, I could ride a bike down that, and then every few years, it would come up on the forums and people would start beaking off about it. And I just remember looking at it going, oh God, they're talking about it again. And then my phone rings and it's you. And it's like, what are you doing right now? It's like, I'm looking at the same thing as you. And you're like, do you want to go? And I think you were like, you had to wait one day, and we went up and we grabbed Margus Riga and we went and rode it. And to be fair, we actually didn't ride right down the middle of it because I don't know if that's possible.
Well, off the top, no, it's a rock climbing route. You can't.
Yeah,
You would die.
I think you can actually. I think
we rode 2/3 of it.
we rode way more than I thought.
Well, we rode
were
more
gonna.
of it, but we rode
Yeah.
2/3 of the face.
Yeah,
we
we
rode the top third to the left and to
Yeah.
the side, and then wrapped around and did 2/3 of the major steep
Yeah.
face.
And I just want everybody to know that even though you got all the pictures, I guinea pigged everything.
What about that bottom section when we first got there, though?
Man, coming down at the end of the day was the steepest part. The best part was actually in the woods. We didn't shoot any of it, and it was absolutely amazing. But I do remember a couple of moments of like stepping in on the pedals and just going like, I wonder what's going to happen.
Oh.
And you can see the highway below you.
Yeah, you're looking down at the highway.
Yeah.
Looking down.
Yep.
Like thousands of feet below you.
It was just so funny how the conversation was. It was just like, are you reading this? And it's just like, I'm tired of the argument. Let's go see if it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, let's do it. And
I think that a
we
line-
just made it happen. I've been looking at it since the Coquihalla opened. I remember the first drive down there. I looked
Yeah.
down and went, oh. I need to ride my bike down there.
I think the line to the west, I think if somebody wants to sacrifice a bit of gear and take a rope, I think you could actually belay down into that. And it wouldn't be very dynamic because you can't get any speed or you'll die.
Yeah.
But I think actually there's a line there that can be ridden.
You can creep it.
Yeah.
There's a big dad no crack on
I think
it.
you can need like a 29, 24 mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. With like the fattest
Plus,
tires made.
Plus.
Yeah. Super plus.
Super wide.
Yeah.
Super soft. Max grip, Maxxis.
Yeah. And then you just strut down it. It's too bad it doesn't have a run out. Otherwise you could probably let her hang.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
Let her buck.
You would be. That's nuts. It's just huge. It's just. It's a bam. So we got the cover of Bike Magazine.
Yeah.
With the Marcus Ricca shot.
That was the old man issue, apparently. I heard that later.
Really?
Yeah, that was the old guy issue.
Well, we were on the cover.
Up to that point, we were the oldest people on the cover. I think Richie beat that later.
Oh, no way. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Doing something gnarly.
Dude, that's legit. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it on my wall.
Yeah.
I've had 2 Bike Magazine covers.
Yeah, I've only got one. I had to share it with you, but
Yeah.
Yeah. 1.5 for you, half for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually, no, I'm super proud to be on that. I mean, you know, who doesn't want to have, like, I never got in powder, but I'm
You
proud.
got in cranked 2.
Yeah, I never got in powder, but I got in bike a few times, and
Yeah.
and I think that's totally legit. That was a super cool publication that we all miss.
Did you see it by accident, or did you know it was coming? Did you pick it up at 7-Eleven and then flip to the magazine?
No,
there you are.
because they actually
magazines were a big deal back then.
they should be a bigger deal, man. I miss print media. Like
Me too.
you keep it, you know.
Me too.
I've got a stack of stuff.
On back of the shitter.
Yeah, like it's kind of like how we used to do with all the bike video stuff. Remember the premieres?
Oh, they were super fun back then. They were like novel.
Well, I used to put on premieres with Bjorn hired me. Bjorn and Derek, when they were working together, hired me to do a map book of all things years ago. That's how I met them.
Yeah.
And then I fell into putting on the premieres with them. And I mean, what a scene. You know, the stuff the parties you would throw. And people don't seem to appreciate it the same way in the fast-paced internet consumption cycle.
People don't go out and dress up and
yeah,
they
they're
just
missing
watch it at
out.
home.
I mean, you can't right now, but I hope that when, the thing is over, that we can, or settles down or whatever happens, that we can go out and do these things again. I hope people embrace it, because that was a good cultural phenomenon we had going, and we had some pretty special things. And people were still kind of lame a little bit. I remember I got more savvy with it over time, and I would come up with like entertainment tricks to make them stay longer and drink more beer and make the bar more money. But we some of those events were awesome. Like, do you remember when we had the live band? I think it was one of the Cranks. It was like in concert, and we put the band in there, and the band played. I made them play songs before the movie went on. But when we did the sound check, the guy was like, he was listening to the intro to the movie. He's like, "That's a cool beat," and he played it, and I was like, "I got an idea." And so I got them to play a few songs, and then at the end of their last song, he dropped into that beat. We pressed play and dropped the screen, and it was seamless, and they walked off. It was super cool. Dicks on dicks.
Richards on Richards?
Yeah, and then we ended the night with the giveaway. And remember, the big thing to give away was the gyro helmet, because gyro would always sponsor the movies. And I had this terrible idea putting
Gyro.
Gyro, yeah, whatever. Euro. Chewbacca, whatever. I had the great idea of putting the helmet on to give it away by stage diving into the crowd, because in concert. Anyway, they almost broke my neck. The helmet came out of they went nuts. They tore the helmet off my head. It came out of the crowd in 3 pieces.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, legendary. I mean, the parties were sick. I mean, when we put the premieres on at Whistler at the Ski and Snowboard Festival, it was always the last thing.
Yeah.
And then, the bike meet would come on, and it's bike season coming up, right? And get everybody fired up.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've never had so many $5 bills on you in your life. Like it was just wads of like small cash. Like you were like the biggest like crack dealer in the world kind of thing,
Oh my God.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, apart from the fact that it was, it was pretty profitable, but it wasn't crazy, but it was so much fun. And I miss those kind of cultural moments. We need to have
It was
more.
a phenomenon that happened back then. You
Yeah.
know, it's not the same now with the internet and people looking on Instagram.
No,
and
maybe we need to come up with another event, because I mean, people are consuming, their media differently. But as an event to go to, it was a lot of fun. It got people together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Good years. So you've been up in the interior for a while. What's the riding scene like there? It's you've got tech obviously still, but like
I live in the
there's
bubble.
a lot of flow.
I live in the bubble.
You have the combo of anything you want there.
Yeah, no,
and pretty long runs
yeah, no, there's some vert.
and a lot of variety.
Yeah, that it's that South Okanagan bubble. I mean, information doesn't come in, it doesn't get out. It's its own little scene. It has been for a really long time. Semi-arid, we have cactus and rattlesnakes and that kind of stuff.
Some sagebrush.
Yeah, I mean, you want to ride there, and this is, I think, why it throws people, because everybody's like, "Oh, let's go up in the summer," and it's terrible. July and August is awful. It's dusty.
It's all
and
dry
hot.
and blown out.
It's blown out. There's no traction. You go there between Mother's Day and Father's Day, and it'll change your life. It is a sea of flowers, and the ground is like Velcro.
Yeah.
And sorry, no, wait, it's terrible. It sucks here. No, don't come.
Yeah,
Don't come.
what I meant
Don't
to
come.
say.
What am I saying?
Yeah.
Dean Payne there with BC Bike Race just relocated there. He did his first edition of it. I was working with them on the media side of it this year with Hessler.
Yeah.
And and small. He's rebranding and stuff. And he's starting small.
Tough times right now during COVID.
Yeah, well, he was due for a rebrand anyway. Mountain bike's funny like that. He's done very well with his product, but he was seeing it taper, and he needed to kind of reinvent the wheel. And that's been, we've been talking a lot about it, and he's decided to move it there. So I think he's going to be there for a few years, and I'm curious to see how that goes. Super fun to be involved with that.
The first one happened this year.
Yeah.
The first interior.
Yeah,
BC
you've
bike
worked
race.
on it.
For many years, for 6 or 7 years.
So that's my first BC bike race. I had a blast, and I do miss the old pedaling.
Yeah.
We all started on the pedally side. I'm more of more the gravity guy, but I really enjoyed that.
What I really thought was cool about the BC bike race was that they have ribbons set up for every corner, and if there was a right hand corner, there's 3 ribbons to the right, and there's the left, there's 3 ribbons to the left, which they wouldn't clean up after.
Yeah.
But you just look for a single ribbon, and when there's a corner, there's a triple. And so you can just pedal for kilometer after 10 kilometers, after 20, 30, keeping the flow, not having to stop and ask for directions or look at a map or look at trail forks or scratch your head. You just look for the ribbons and you just pedal and corner and pedal and descend and climb and pedal and just keep the flow going. So easily with that setup.
I think we surprised a few guys with the terrain on the Okanagan this year too, because
what did you do for gnarl?
Well, we did a lot of time in the mice. We had, because again,
3-blind mice.
Well, 3-blind mice in Armada just outside of.
Am I allowed to say that?
You can totally say that.
Did I blow this? It's not a secret.
Nah, you're not blowing up the spot.
No,
it's okay. Everybody knows now. But with that zone, it's they couldn't put people in the buses or travel the same way, so we had to kind of keep it.
Or in the ferries like they used to do.
Yeah, but it put too many people in one. Inside together. You can't do that. So anyway, we kind of kept it around the Penticton area, did some Apex, and we did some Summerland and some stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a different vibe, like lots of dry, fast riding.
Yeah.
And rocky and gnarly.
Well, it's going to sustain sometimes, right?
3,000 foot descents everywhere.
Yeah.
But we got 5,000 foot downhills. But they're not steep, so they go forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took those guys riding a few years ago, and I told them, okay, it's going to be a big day. It's 5,000 up, but 10,000 down. And it's 60K point to point. And we're going to get lost 4 or 5 times.
And we're going to get lost.
Yeah, and it's just like, don't panic, don't stress out, just take a break. It's just bring some beer, bring some food. We'll take a break each time we get lost, and within 10 minutes, I'll figure it out. It's just because there's 100 junctions. You can't remember them all.
Yeah,
you just
right.
Kinda, And anyway, and Dean's such a champ, and he bought into my scene. It was kind of
okay,
blowing smoke up his ass and stuff. But anyway, it worked out, and we had this fantastic day, and I think it kind of got lodged in his brain, and that was part of the reason when he moved up there and stuff and got her going.
Yeah,
he's awesome. I love Dean.
Yeah.
No,
he's got his good vibe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hang with him. I'm gonna go hang with him in a couple of days. He's really good with his staff, eh? I didn't realize
he's the coolest boss I've ever had.
Yeah, his leadership is
and friend,
is sick. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone loves him, and you want to do well for the BC bike race because it is creating so much happiness for people.
Yeah.
The ultimate single track experience, that people can live in a week, 7 days of 50 Ks a day.
Yeah.
Pedaling awesomeness, BC single track. It's what, 85% single track, 90% single track?
It's got to be single track.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's up or down as long as it's single track. I'm good.
I think it's 90% single track or something like that. And so just maybe a few little roads here and there to connect things, and then back to single track.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, yeah, they've got it going on. Now, pretty stoked to be from BC, eh? Like, how lucky are we?
I don't know. This is all I know.
Yeah.
Seems pretty cool.
Oh my God.
It's fun. It's fun showing people from other countries this spot, though. I've been doing that for a while, so when guys show up from Euroland, and I really miss having all the Brits and the Germans and stuff coming out to play, because there's some core people that I really got to know, like Holger Meyer. What a gem.
Yeah.
Awesome. And he used to bring guys out all the time, and everybody thinks the Germans are so serious. It's like, no, they're hilarious. It's just like, you might not get the joke.
Right?
I know, like when you hang with those guys, like your stomach hurts after a couple of days. Like it's like you're just nonstop
Well,
laughing.
Holger Meyer is exceptionally, cheery, outdoorsy person.
Yeah, so like the Austrian Richie Schley? No, he's way more fun than that. Sorry, Richie, that's 2 digs. I said I'd only do 1.
So, with all this vertical that you get to do, you're a good all-round rider. Like me, like you're not like an exceptional jumper, but we get it done to a certain point. Freeride light.
Yeah.
But, descending technical stuff, we've done a lot. It's time for the ride wrap crash of your life story.
Oh, Whistler.
What is the crash of your life? The ride wrap crash of your life.
Ride wrap crash of your life. Whistler A-line is how every story starts.
Oh my God, yeah.
The high-speed shale part with the right-hander?
With the right-hander at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, so, and right before that, there's a little bit of a rain rat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like, hey, who wants to sweep A-line today? Me, give me the card. And I'd already done, I think, 4 full Garbo laps that day. I was pushing about 24,000 feet that day.
Okay.
And I came into that right-hander. I hit the rain rat, and I guess I was tired. Sometimes your wrist folds off the bar.
Oh, no.
And so when the hand comes off the bar...
At the fastest part, almost.
Yeah, it's pretty much the fastest part of the rail. So when the hand comes off the bar, what happens? The other hand pushes forward. It locks your hip in, and it enters you locked into the bike. And it spat me. I didn't go left off the trail. I went right.
Thank God.
And
the ditch.
One way is down into the boulders, down way off the side.
Yeah, and the ditch on the right.
On the right, I went into. It was rocks actually. It was big
rocks.
Boulders. Yeah, and I went into there, and I piled her up like really badly. And you know how you get that 10 minutes free, and you're sitting going. You can't breathe and you're all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then, so I got on my bike and I took myself to the bottom, and I saw a guy I knew on patrol, and I'm like, and he brought me over the auction. I got a picture of it actually on my phone. I'm sitting in my FUBU jeans.
Come on.
Gasping for air. Anyway, I went to the clinic, and they, you're fine, and they sent me home. So I drove a full busload of people home in my 1-ton douche canoe.
You drove? Oh yeah, because I
had a group. Yeah, I was. I wasn't guiding that day, but I had a group that wanted to ride Whistler, and they wanted to ride on their own. So I took them back to Vancouver.
So you ate shit
really hard. So here's the thing. So
they drove everybody in the van.
Yeah, I drove everybody home. So then, but the guys did tell me at the clinic. I think they're a bit shell shocked there from what they see, and I can take.
Were you shell shocked?
I could handle some pain.
Yeah.
And they said you should probably take a pee test because you hit pretty hard, just in case. So
no.
So next day I went to Lionsgate, and I've been sitting there for a while, like as you do in Lionsgate, waiting to get seen. And of course we all know the doctors because they all ride.
Lionsgate Hospital.
Yeah, and he's like, "Do you want to?" And the guy's like, "He's like, what are you here for?" It's like, "I had a crash at Whistler yesterday. I can't remember." And he's like, "Why aren't you in a gown?" And I'm like, "What?" And so they got like orderlies on me, stripped naked under a sheet, thrown into the PET scan, and like right now, like it was crazy. And then they come back, and he's like, "You're so lucky to be alive." So I tore my liver in half, cracked my pubic bone, I broke my thumb, I tore a chunk out of my leg. I still have some nerve damage there. I had a couple cracked ribs. I had a concussion. There was some other stuff too. Those are kind of the high points. Like it was a bad crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you're like, I'm sore.
Well, a cracked pubic bone was sore for a while.
The ribs.
The pubic bone is like ribs. Like it's not a structural bone, but like it's like
central.
If you put your belt on wrong, it's like somebody's hot knifing your dick.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Doesn't sound very nice.
No, it was awful. It was just awful. Anyway, thank you, Ride Wrap. That was my crash.
Crash of your life by Ride Wrap. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, how many moments do you have, close calls of your life? That's what I find funny about mountain biking is that you'll be on the edge of a cliff and you're like, oh, you'll squirrel out and you'll be like almost die. And then you'll be like 10 feet later, you got some other like life and death situation. And then you come through that, and then you hit a tranny. Oh, and there's the jump, and there's a blind corner, and then you've forgotten about the third last gnarly close death experience you had up there, and you're just focusing on the next thing.
According to quantum theory, you died on all of those things. Like all those choices actually happened, but this is just the timeline that we're conscious through. We keep going.
That you're with,
yeah. No, we
in the multiverse.
We talk about this a lot, especially riding fast in the Kootenays, because you go so fast in the forest there. It's not like here. And you really move, and it feels like you're just like reality is kind of peeling away like onion skin. It's a weird sensation, but I know so many people that have the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's what you're talking about. Like I almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I think that's what we're addicted to.
All those interested in time travel, meet here last week at 7:30.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. Wow, it got really weird there.
I was going to tell you a time travel joke, but you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow.
Now
Well,
I know. Say so. How are we up to the 2000s yet? I mean, how's this going?
I don't even. We were going to go schedule, or I mean,
Yeah.
chronological, but we're just kind of bouncing all over the place.
Yeah. Well, no, we talked about Tantalus. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Tantalus bike store,
Yeah.
and Banff, and Squamish, and the interior
Yeah, I've been spending some time actually in Panorama lately. That's
panorama. Oh, the shale slopes,
man.
carving up the shale. It's
You haven't been to Paradise yet, have you?
I have not been there.
Well, you
got
gotta push up.
Paradise.
You gotta push up.
There's a new owner there, and he invited me on Instagram,
I know.
and I've forgotten his name. And I can't find him on Instagram.
I know his name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
Of course you do.
Bring a heli budget. Let's go.
Yeah. Working. You can't get enough, can you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding with some people up there, and it's fantastic. My friend Lindsay's been living there, and she's been working a bit at Retallack, and I've been riding with her a bit and meeting some of the folks up there. Holy, are those rides big?
Yeah.
The one I did this summer, we left at 4 a.m.
Okay.
And we got back, and then I saw you
Yeah.
announcing, because we went and rode. We went and did like a whole bunch of crazy alpine, and you have to kind of. It's funny, you got to take these little routes because a lot of it's off limits, so it's tricky to kind of find your way through. But there's a bunch of stuff you're allowed to do, and it is fantastic. Purcells are gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
stunning, absolutely stunning part of the world.
And they're big too.
They're huge.
And they're steep.
Pretty good. Yeah, I don't like the dirt down low that much.
Too rocky.
You know, people talk about the gold dirt. I like the silver. I like that Kootenai silver dirt better. It's just, it's
More predictable.
the gold dirt gets kind of chunky and blown out when it's dry. The silver seems to be the ticket. Yeah.
It just is the happy.
But the stuff up high is so special. They have a special kind of alpine kind of sandy scree up there. It's pow.
It's always good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that segment that Aggie and those boys did. Sorgi was there, and Lakonde that they did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed when those guys were coming out with that Fest Series stuff. I missed that part. That was fun hanging out with them.
Those jumps are insane. I just ride right by them. I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's a long ways to go from the takeoff to the landing.
All you got to do is you just have to do it right.
Just go the right speed.
Just do it right.
Just don't touch your brakes.
Yeah. I think that's probably the key.
And be comfortable with being in the air for long amounts of time.
Well, that's me out of it.
Yeah.
But I sure like watching them. Yeah. Yeah, those guys are great, man. Yeah, they're so fun. Yeah.
It's what, like Sorgi's won Rampage 3 times.
Yeah.
And then there's guys like Bueller, who are sending those jumps.
Yeah.
And so many. There's a lot of good riders doing it.
Yeah. Sorgi was who he was up shooting this fall with Sterl, I was saying. He was doing something with Shimano. I forget what the project. It should be out soon, actually. And man, it's like he's like the Energizer Bunny out there. Like he really likes to jump. It's like you taking pictures. He really likes to do it.
Yeah.
And holy,
I'll work hard to get pictures taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard work. I mean, and you're at elevation. You're working hard.
Yeah. Scrambling back up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that day on Yak, you were just looking at me and I'm like running back up to get another shot, get the right angle. And
Yeah.
Just sweating. But when it's go time and there's light,
Yeah.
you give her. That's how you get the shots, right?
Well, it is. It's interesting when you talk to, like there's a lot of fresh faces out there and they're wondering, like, why are these old guys still getting the shots? Like, well, because they're working at it. Like, I mean, and you're lucky. You love what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that part of it as much. I would rather just be like, okay, we did that. Let's go to the next thing,
Yeah. It's creating art. Like,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of riding, as you have, but, like, I like getting the nug. It's the hunt. It's like hunting trophies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Beyond just riding and
Yeah.
beyond just doing art, it's mixed together.
Yeah. And it at the end of the day, it is a job.
It's a job.
It's hard to do. Yeah.
And you have to do it at certain times of the year, so it's time sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you just go get a good shot wherever. Like there's marketing campaigns that go on then year to year in the spring, summer, and fall cycle of business.
Well, and you got to wait for the light sometimes. Do you remember that time when I was yelling at you and Richie because you were supposed to be like hanging out with the guests and you guys were kind of like playing around with the camera, and I got super. I was told to go.
I
I was told to go chew you guys out.
Yeah,
and they was like, "You guys are like not doing. You're supposed to be here for the guests, and besides, which the light is shit anyway, because the middle of the day." And then it's just like, and then like 2 weeks later or whatever it was like double page spread in the middle of bike, and you know, it's like, right? They're professionals. They got the goods. Okay.
Yeah, we did get the goods.
You did. You got the goods. Who shot that?
Who was that? It wasn't Blake. Was it Blake?
Oh
Jorgensen?
no, it was Blake. It was Blake.
It was Blake Jorgensen.
Yeah,
it was Blake.
And he got some ridiculous middle of the day shot, which never happens. And
I know, right?
But it was. I think it was.
Wasn't the helicopter at the top?
That was a different one. He got a shot of you guys riding off Rico, and but the clouds had put patterns on the mountains in behind, and it
that's
looked
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful there anyway. Right?
Yeah, it's hard to get a bad shot.
Yeah. Well, no, I could do that.
Yeah. I just love Retallack. I'm going to talk about Retallack again.
Probably shouldn't, but a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just got fresh in my head because that's what's been going on lately. I mean, what else? What else did we do? I mean, hanging out at stupid bike races and
BC bike race, BC Cup downhill, Canada Cup downhill.
Oh yeah, night drags at Silver Star.
Night drags at Silver Star.
Mm-hmm.
Epic stuff.
Yeah, actually.
Elodie Brown.
You know what? Actually,
Corey Leclerc.
I saw Corey this summer. He got in a fight in the lift line.
He's always getting in fights.
Not really, but yeah, I love him. I'm so glad he's coaching.
Few years you hear a Corey story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he's got a strong opinion.
He's sometimes right.
Yeah, and he can be so funny.
He's so good.
He's very quick.
Actually, I remember when I first met Elodie, 94. I went
downhill silver medalist back in 92.
92. Yeah, she was first world champs.
No, she got silver.
She got silver, but I think it was the first world championships.
Was it the first behind Cindy Devine?
Yeah, I think that's how that went down.
Yeah.
You'll have to have her on and ask her.
Yeah.
But I met her in 94, Roseland. I went to two races.
Ripper.
I thought I'd go check out some big races, and I went to Roseland, and I knew Dave Swetland, and I ended up hooking up with a bunch of guys after the race.
Original star from the Crank.
Yeah,
series.
This was the Canadian National Championships, and there was a whole bunch of pros there because there was a World Cup the next week. At Silver Star, it was the World Cup finals.
Yeah.
And so I went to both races, and I just remember kind of going for this big group ride, and the weather turned crazy, and then suddenly everybody's dropping off, and everybody's going home and stuff, and it turned into me, Dave, Elodie, and Chandro, and Chris Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
Larry
Legends.
And
Group of legends.
I remember that day so clearly because that was when I was like, oh my God, these are like, I knew who everybody was, and I was kind of in awe, and it's like I'm riding with them, and like I think a lot of people have this experience.
You were probably guiding everybody.
No, this is before that. I mean, I was like 23 years old, and I didn't really know anybody, and and I was and kind of stupid, and still am, I guess. And yeah, that kind of blew my mind that I could actually hang with these people, and it
bunch of Canadian downhill champions.
Yeah.
Chris Lawrence was a Canadian downhill champion.
Yeah, and I love riding with Elodie. I hung out with her again at BC Bikers. We don't ride enough, but every time I hang out with Elodie, I have the
such
best
a fun
time.
vibe to that girl too.
Yeah.
She's just good energy.
Oh, she's one of the best people.
Love Elodie Brown.
All those guys are.
Yeah,
and we're still doing it again. We keep saying, "Oh, well, we're so cool because we're old."
These are the good old days.
These are the good old days,
dude. What can you say to people to keep shredding? For so many decades that are at our age, still getting after it.
Don't stop moving or you'll die.
Yeah. If you're not going forwards, you're going backwards.
Yeah, something like that. I was given that advice a long time ago.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That's true. A guy said that to me a long time ago. I think it was Al Loop, one of the North Shore guys, like Brent Martin's kind of crew.
Yeah.
And I think I was in my early 30s, and he's like, "You're doing pretty good right now." He's like, "Make sure when you hit 40 that you're in shape. You got to be in shape when you hit 40, and because if you do that, you'll be in shape till you die."
Yeah.
And I took that to heart, and I passed that advice on to a lot of people, and I think that's super true.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
Yeah, and I really feel like if I stop moving, I'm going to die.
Wow. Well, you're going to have to use that training technique and longevity secret. Heli skiing.
Oh my
guiding
God.
for 50 plus days this winter, and then another season of heli biking and guiding at Retallack again.
Yep.
And not a bad life.
Yeah, it's working out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap things up here, but, it's a custom to have a joke.
Oh.
A cheesy dad joke, hopefully.
A cheesy dad joke. Oh.
For the end of the Tippie podcast.
Yeah, no, and I know so many jokes. You always go, like, whoa, do you know any jokes? No. I know some stupid stories. What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Between a hippo and a zippo, like a lighter. I don't know.
Well, one's a big, heavy animal, and the other's a little lighter.
It's a little lighter. I love it. I love it. Okay. My wife told me I should start doing lunges. That'd be a real step forward.
I saw a woman with 12 boobs the other day. I can't even say it.
I got 9 kids to feed. Total Recall?
Anyway, never mind.
Oh, my God.
That was going to get blue.
Yeah. We wouldn't even need the sound effect.
Okay, I saw a woman with 12 boobs the other day. Seems weird, doesn't it?
That's awesome. What do you call 500 Indians with no nipples? The Indian nipple is 500. Can we still say that? I don't know.
You can.
I'm
can't.
Indian.
Yeah.
I'm Indian. Native. Indigenous.
Yeah.
I can say that. Buddy, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Anytime. I'm glad we kind of made this happen, and on a really good day for me too. So
yeah, you're a legend, man. You're a legend. You're an early free rider, and you're an awesome guide, and you've made a lot of people happy. Showed and shared the love of the sport and single track, and keep up the good work with what you do. And good luck now that you're a fully qualified winter guide.
I'm an assistant guide. Yeah. Let's not get out. That's the next step.
Okay.
I got more.
Okay, well, you got the next step.
got more
towards
to
being
go.
a fully qualified mountain bike.
All right.
Mountain guide.
Found it.
Jonny Smoke, the one and only on the Brett Tippie podcast.